Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're taking a look at the Gloomspite Gitz, and in particular the Badsnatchers sub-faction of the army. In this video we're going to go through, talk a little bit about what makes the Badsnatchers special for a Gloomspite Gitz army, before looking at some other units to start our faction with. After this, we'll then look at further units to expand upon those first couple of initial purchases, before finally finishing off the video with a little sample army list of 750 points for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Gloomspite Gitz army for the Badsnatchers. And so, we get the cool rule named Harbingers of the Everdank, one of the coolest sub-faction allegiance rules I think I've ever heard. Each time a casting roll is made for a friendly Badsnatchers Moonclan wizard, if that wizard is wholly within 9 inch of any other friendly Badsnatchers Moonclan wizards, you can reroll one of the dice in that casting roll. So this is the subfaction that is all about having the wizards on the table, and Gloomspite Gitz can get some incredibly good cheap wizards. We'll talk about quite a few of them over the course of the video. And so, where to start? I think the Fungoid Cave Shaman for me is one of the best wizards outside of Scragrot the Loon King, who is keyword locked to the King's Gitz. So we're going to go with the Fungoid Cave Shaman here because he'll get all the benefits for the rules, and he's probably the best wizard we have on foot. Maybe the Arachnoid Spiders are a way to go, but I don't think they're the way you want to probably play this army. You want lots of smaller grot wizards on the table for those loads of casts with loads of bonuses. Now, the Fungoid Cave Shaman's really fun. First of all, he can generate you some extra command points, and he's got a really cool ability with his Deathcap Mushroom, where once per battle, he can cast an extra spell, and he can choose any Gloomspite Gitz lore spell that he wants to cast, so it doesn't have to be the spell on his War Scroll or an endless spell that he has access to. It can be any spell from the lore, excluding, obviously, endless spells he doesn't have access to. Now, he's got his Spore Squig as well, which means he's not visible to enemy units that are more than 12 inch away from him, and his Spore Maw spells has a casting value of 7 and a range of 6 inch. If successfully cast, each enemy unit within range will suffer d6 mortal wounds, rolled separately for each enemy unit. So, a pretty nice spell, though short range can be really good if people start getting too close to him. Now, to go along with him, we are going to take some Stabbers. For me, these are probably my favourite out of the two main battle line units. You got Stabbers and you got Shooters, but I think for me, the big thing here is the Anarchic Hordes rule with Stabbers, where while this unit has 20 or more models in it, it can contest an objective more than 9 inch away. So it can test an objective, within 9 inch away, so it gets an extra 3 inch, which can really come in clutch. It might not matter when you've just got your 20 grots on the table, but definitely as you start going into playing larger games and you start having larger units of grots on the table, it'll be a massive thing for the army. You've also got the ability of Netters, which makes them -1 to hit, which is just a fantastic, nice little debuff to have packed into the units. If we're looking at other units we can bring in, start to look at some of the other cheap wizard options, and the Madcap Shaman is a really fun one. First of all, their Madcap Mushroom allows them once per battle in the hero phase to attempt to cast an additional spell. If you do so, however, and the casting roll is double, the model will suffer D3 mortal wounds after the effects of the spell have been resolved. Now, these guys have 4 wounds, so D3, if they've suffered a wound before, could be really quite significantly painful for them. Now, it's also worth noting that if that casting roll is a double 1, they would suffer this effect from the Madcap Mushroom, so there's every potential that they suffer 4 mortal wounds and just die. They've got their own War Scroll spell called Night Shroud, though, that's a friendly unit targeted and 12 inch range and casting value of 5. Now, until your next hero phase, you subtract 1 from hit rolls for attacks made with missile weapons that target that unit. So pretty cool. Like, this can go hand in hand with Netters because Netters do only work in close combat, so can really just give a nice bit of extra protection. The Gobblepalooza is the other thing I really like in this sub-faction because it nets you 2 wizards at a relatively cheap cost, as well as some other great buffing pieces for your force. Now, you've got a bunch of different abilities, but the 2 wizards in here are the Fungoid Cloud-wielding Shroomancer, who has a casting value of 6 and a range of 12 on his Fungoid Cloud spell. If successfully cast until your next hero phase, you subtract 1 from hit rolls that target friendly Gloomspite Gitz while they're wholly within range of this unit. And you've got the change spell of Mesmerize, which is for the Boggle-Eye, casting value 6, range of 12. Again, successfully cast, you pick an enemy unit within range, and until the start of your next hero phase, the enemy unit cannot issue or receive commands at all. This is a really, really solid spell. Now, to go along with these and give some extra sort of punch, you definitely want to start thinking about bringing in some of the different sorts of support units you can bring in for your Gitz. And Sportsblade Fanatics are a really fun and decently cheap option. The reason I like them in this particular faction is because they are that cheaper option. They're cheaper than Sneaky Snufflers or, you know, got more wounds or more ability to be on the table than, say, a Loon Boss, which has its own issues. But for me, they're really, really solid. So, Sportsblade Fanatics have the Pushroom Frenzy, where they can add +1 attack to other friendly Gloomspite Gitz units that are wholly within a 9-inch of them, which is really, really nice. Lastly, we have the Endless Spells, because if we're going to play in this magic-heavy faction, why not take a bunch of the Endless Spells available to the Gloomspite Gitz as well? And the Gloomspite Gitz do have quite a few different spells available to them. So the first of these is going to be the Scrap Scuttle's Arachna Cauldron, which is really fun and gives you access to the entire Gloomspite Gitz lore, though it will start potentially hurting things around it. Scuttletide is something generally better off cast out of a Web Spinner Shaman, but it does do a nice bunch of mortal wounds and can have the ability when it's near some Arachna Rocks as well. It can only be dispelled on the roll of a 9+. It gets a little bit harder to dispel near those big spiders. For me, the Malevolent Moon is probably my favourite. It's got a really cool thing where it passes on the light of the bad moon around the table around it, which is fun. And Mork's Mighty Mushroom is just straight up damage dealing. And so here we have our sample army list. We're going to be playing in the Badsnatchers, obviously, as per this video. And we're going to be from the Mortal Realm of Gur because it's the time of beasts. Grand strategy-wise, we've gone for Protect the Loon Shrine. This just means we've got to have no enemy units around 12-inch of our Loon Shrine, and our Loon Shrine also not affected by a monstrous rampage that would see its effects destroyed, or say a Gargant using his ability either as well. Now, we've also got a Triumph, because we are 5 points under the 750 for Inspired, +1 wound. Not every chance we're going to get it, but it's there in case we do. And our Fungoid Cave Shaman will be our General. He's going to have the command trait, which is going to be Loon Touch, which is for a wizard only. The general can cast 1 additional spell in each of our hero phases while they're affected by the light of the bad moon, and this will sort of tag into something else we picked on the list later. We then have the Staff of Sneaky Stealing as his artifact of power as well. A wizard only, where he'll get to add 1 to his casting rolls for the bearer, and each time the bearer unbinds a spell, he add 1 to casting roll for the bearer for the rest of the battle. So he gets better and better as he starts sort of stealing other wizards' magical power. Now, he's got Lore of the Moon Clans, and we've gone for Itchy Nuisance as the spell on this wizard. This effectively puts the Strike Last effect out. He's then taken out Aspect of the Champion as well, going Stubborn as Ironix, meaning he counts as 10 models on objectives. We then have our Mad Cap Shaman, who's going with Hand of Gaunt, which is just a straight up teleport. For Battle Line, we've got 2 units of 20 Stabbers with Poking Spears and Moon Shields, and then our other units are the Gobbapalooza and the Loon Smasher Fanatics. And on the spells wise, we've got the Malevolent Moon, and this goes really nice hand in hand with that Loon Touch command trait, because we can put out that Malevolent Moon and get some extra casts when it's out as well, which is really nice. Everything is wrapped up in a 1-drop battalion in the Battle Regiment, and like I said, 5 points under. 71 wounds is a pretty decent amount of wounds, even if some of them are, you know, grots. But if you've got some ideas for a Badsnatchers army, let us know down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed the video and you got something out of it as well. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And while you're at it, why not drop a comment down below letting us know your thoughts on the video's content. Also, if you'd like to come and chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description. Also down in the video's description is the best ways to help support the channel if you would like to do so. We have Patreon and YouTube members, both linked down in the video's description, and you'll get yourself a little shout out just like these people here are going to in just a second. But also, if you'd like to grab some merch to help yourself and get something in the same time and help the channel, you can do so either by our Teespring or by the Ko-fi store. As a special thank you, I said, to our Patreon and YouTube members, thank you to Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Thee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargaming, Domain, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Bloobs, Benjamin Swallows, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, and Nicholas Conomos, and to our YouTube members as well, Green Roots Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Man Killer, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, Davis Wire, James South, and James Tillman. Thank you all so much for helping support the channel. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchbox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Thank you all once again for watching. Stay safe, stay well everyone, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.